Donald Trump is now rejoicing as Democrats are reportedly freaking out over Joe Biden's chances as the 2024 election gets closer. So the anxiety stems from Biden's age, Kamala Harris's unpopularity. You got Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s third-party candidacy and a surprising Sienna poll that's showing Biden's narrow lead over Donald Trump in New York. Oh yeah, it's getting scary for those guys. In fact, meanwhile, Donald Trump is making unprecedented gains among Black and Hispanic voters, just completely outpacing Biden in the fundraising efforts and shaking up traditionally Democratic strongholds. And according to the chaos, there's courtroom drama involving Donald Trump's legal battles, which have seen special counsel Jack Smith and Judge Aileen head off into a heated exchange, including a shouting match. We're going to talk about that later in this video. With young and Black voters also leaning toward Donald Trump and swing states in play, the stakes could not be higher, guys. Could this be the tipping point for American politics? Like, seriously. I mean, you're not going to want to miss this one, guys. So make sure you take a second, hit the like button for the video. I totally appreciate you guys. And I just want to thank you guys so much for always sharing this video and subscribing to the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. But yeah, guys, Democrats are freaking out about Joe Biden. According to a recent Politico article, several issues causing concern. We're talking immigration, high inflation, Joe Biden's age, Kamala Harris's unpopularity, and of course the presence of a third-party candidate like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The Politico article actually noted anxiety among Democrats has turned into palpable trepidation as the election day approaches. So the Politico article pointed out that there's this big gap between what Democrats say publicly and what they're actually sharing privately about Biden's campaign prospects. They mentioned poor polling results, especially a Sienna poll showing Joe Biden leading Donald Trump by only 9 points in New York. Now, keep in mind, this is traditionally a Democratic state. That's not a good sign for Biden. Highlighting Donald Trump's gains with Black and Hispanic voters and his fundraising success, raising $25 million more than Biden in the past month. In fact, Democrats are panicking because of Biden's campaign performance. Donald Trump's campaign efforts, including attending events in traditionally Democratic areas, they're very unsettling for Democrats. In fact, young voters and Black voters, despite Biden's efforts to win their support, they're now showing increased support for Donald Trump. Trump's record-breaking fundraising in April and how it outpaced Biden's, not a good sign. Then, of course, there's the ongoing events such as Donald Trump's trial. It might be driving even more support and even more donations toward Donald Trump. And Trump is doing very well in the swing states, and losing states like Michigan could spell a lot of trouble for Joe Biden. In fact, according to the Politico report, it looks like if the election was held today, Donald Trump would win 6 out of 7 swing states. In fact, Biden's desperate campaign has started using this new phrase, framing the election as a choice between crazy autocracy, implying Donald Trump, and democracy. But let's get back to Jack Smith's classified documents case in Florida. Special counsel Jack Smith and his team just got embarrassed after they started shouting in court. This is related to former President Donald Trump's classified documents case. And there's a very common denominator here that the people have noticed. Why do these prosecutors keep shouting at Trump's team? Especially when what's being told can be considered a bombshell, or in other words, more of a smoking gun. Now, the same could be said for Judge Juan Merchan when the defense's top witness destroyed the testimony of Michael Cohen in Donald Trump's hush money case. He shouted at the defense's witness and wanted to remove his entire testimony. Is it because they're lying? Or is it because they're saying that it's hitting too close to home? And it's not just the defense that Smith's team is shouting at. They're also shouting at the judge. This is also eerily similar to what District Attorney Fani Willis's team does before their cases. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but one of her top prosecutors shouted at a judge for refusing to admit last-minute evidence. It's like these prosecutors get pissed off when they don't get their way. Do they think that the courtrooms would just let them do whatever they wanted? And the best part with Trump's classified documents case is that the news outlets like MSNBC are pouring it in, and they're admonishing Judge Aileen Cannon. They're blasting her and saying that she's not doing her job.
And talk about what happened in court today and why things got so heated so quickly.
Stephanie, there's a dispute over whether Woodward, the lawyer for Nauta, was offered a judicial position, and it was tanked by the federal government because his client did not comply. So this is a real personal dispute between the lawyer for Nada and the prosecution. But in the end, this stuff really is exactly what the government says it is, garbage, because these are delay tactics. Most judges would have just dismissed this stuff out of hand. Prosecutors have a lot of leverage of how they can compel people to testify or at least cut deals with them. But Judge Cannon has been slow walking this case from the beginning. Judge Cannon has given in all the delay tactics, and it's so frustrating because most other judges would either dismiss this or just hold a hearing and combine all the motions into one. But she just does one hearing at a time, and she is doing something that other judges would never do. She's all alone in this satellite courthouse, Stephanie, in Fort Pierce. That's part of the problem. There's no adult supervision there. And so she's giving in to all of Trump's requests. This is like paralysis by analysis. This is dilatory purgatory. And it's so frustrating for all of us.
Now, according to Cannon, she wants to deal with the unresolved motion in the case. But these analysts and Jack Smith's team, they want to have a trial before the 2024 presidential elections. Yet they confidently say that this is not politically motivated, something that critics of the Biden administration have called them out on because of all of these charges coming up at the same year as the elections. But let's get back to how Judge Aileen Cannon had to personally tell a prosecutor to calm down in her courtroom. You heard Walt Nauder's name a second ago, and he's one of Donald Trump's co-defendants in the classified documents case. Nauder argued that the Department of Justice vindictively charged him and that he wanted to have the case dismissed. Nauder is being accused of moving boxes of sensitive materials to prevent federal agents from retrieving them. Stanley Woodward, Nauder's attorney, he had a heated argument with a prosecutor regarding a meeting that happened back in August 2022. Woodward says that he was pressured in the meeting by a member of Jack Smith's team to push Nauder to cooperate with the DOJ investigation. A prosecutor for Smith's team, Jay Bratt, allegedly insinuated that Woodward's appointment to the D.C. Superior Court would be negatively affected if Nauder didn't play ball. Now, I'm not sure about you guys, but this sounds like blackmail. The prosecution through David Harbach rose from their side and said that this was a garbage argument, saying that Woodward's story is nothing more than fantasy. Harbach was reported to be shouting and banging his hand on the table in front of him and said that this event did not happen. Judge Cannon then told Harbach to calm down. It's a completely logical choice of words, especially as you can't get caught up with your emotions during these proceedings. However, Harbach raised his voice even more. While pounding the podium with his index finger, Harbach said that Cannon's characterization of what he said just moments earlier were wrong. Harbach reportedly lost his cool multiple times in the hearing. Some analysts suggest that the prosecution is just surprised that these series of events are being discussed. Maybe they thought that they wouldn't be brought up. And to be honest, many critics believe that Harbach's outburst of anger shows more guilt than innocence, because it sure looks like the defense hit them where it hurts the most. It could also be the prosecution's frustration with Judge Cannon, because it's obvious that they want to speed things up. But like Cannon has said before, she wants to deal with the other legal disputes within the case first. Just look at how the prosecution was forced to admit that they lied about the order of the classified documents. We also now know that the FBI was given the green light to use deadly force on the former president if they thought it was necessary in order to retrieve said documents, something that Special Counsel Jack Smith also took note of. However, he saw nothing wrong with it. Jack Smith has recently asked Judge Aileen Cannon to put a gag order on Donald Trump. That definitely sounds very familiar to what's happening with the former president and DA Alvin Bragg in the New York hush money case. Jack Smith says Donald Trump should be forbidden from making statements that quote-unquote pose a significant, imminent, and foreseeable danger to law enforcement agents participating in the investigation and prosecution of this case. The former president commented on the FBI's use of force policy and how it was implemented with the Mar-a-Lago raid. This policy would allow FBI agents to use deadly force if they believe that the subject of force poses an imminent danger to the officer themselves or any other person. The FBI defended itself and said that these contingencies are routine, although this was a raid of a former president's home. So the FBI said that similar language was used in the operation plan to search President Biden's properties in Delaware. Now you gotta ask, did they bring the medics too? Because that's what they did in Florida. It seemed by all the facts put together, they were expecting a shootout with the Secret Service. Now, we're not sure if Judge Cannon would place a gag order on Donald Trump for these comments, especially as some analysts believe that the former president is merely stating the truth. Trump's campaign spokesperson Stephen Chung said that all of these attempts to silence the former president during during his presidential campaign are blatant attempts to interfere with the election. But what do you guys think? Should a gag order be placed on Donald Trump for this case too? Or should he be free to practice his First Amendment right as an American citizen? So that was a news portion of today's video. Now I would like to introduce you guys to the sponsor of today's video, Burcon Nutriscience Corporation. They're a leader in the plant-based proteins, and HPS Food and Ingredients Incorporated have successfully just made their first commercial sales of high purity hemp protein isolate. Now guys, this marks a major milestone in the rapidly growing market for plant-based proteins. Burcon Nutriscience trades on the OTC exchange under ticker symbol BRCNF, also on the Toronto exchange under symbol BU.TO. Burcon Nutriscience Corporation specializes in developing plant-based proteins for food and for beverages. HPS Foods and Ingredients Incorporated has partnered with Burcon to commercialize hemp protein isolate. Hemp protein isolate is the world's first high-purity hemp protein, which is 95% protein. From a commercial sales standpoint, Burcon and HPS have made their first commercial sales, indicating strong market acceptance and demand. The hemp protein isolate market is growing rapidly and is worth billions of dollars. So Burcon is using a strategy that minimizes large capital expenditures, making it easier and faster to bring products to market. Due to strong customer interest, Burcon is increasing production to meet demand. The hemp protein isolate can be used in various food and beverage products like powdered and ready-to-drink beverages and dairy alternatives. Launches featuring Burcon's hemp protein are expected later this year in 2024 from a consumer product standpoint. Kip Underwood, CEO of Burcon, emphasized the achievements as validation of Burcon's efficient business model and technology. Focus is now on further milestones toward becoming a profitable leader in plant proteins. Mark Van Burk, CEO of HPS, expressed excitement about customer interest and commitment to innovative, sustainable plant-based solutions. Burcon is pleased to announce that it closes oversubscribed $4.3 million in private placement. So Burcon Nutriscience Corporation has successfully closed an oversubscribed, non-brokered private placement raising $4.36 million. Now this funding will actually accelerate Burcon's commercial plans and support ongoing research and development. So when we look at the funding details, they've raised over $4.36 million. This is a per unit price of 21.5 cents, just over 20.2 million units. Subscribers included company directors, management, long-term shareholders, and new investors. Each unit includes one common share and half a warrant. Each whole warrant allows purchase of an additional share at 27 cents within 24 months. From a commercial expansion perspective, accelerate plans to meet growing demand for protein products, research and development to continue developing new products and technologies, and from a corporate purposes standpoint, generate corporate needs and exploring new market opportunities. Kip Underwood, CEO of Burcon, he highlighted the successful funding as a step toward profitability, expressing gratitude toward investors for their support. The transaction is a related party transaction, but exempt from certain regulatory requirements due to its structure and market capitalization. The private placement was unanimously approved by Burcon's disinterested directors. These achievements demonstrate Burcon's progress in commercializing innovative plant-based proteins and securing financial support to scale operations, meeting rising consumer demand, and paving the way for future growth. Burcon reported its fiscal year 2024 third quarter results, highlighting significant progress in commercial production, partnerships, and customer interest. This period has seen Burcon achieving critical milestones and setting the stage to further growth in the plant-based protein market. Burcon integrated its proprietary processing equipment at a partner manufacturing facility. They've also entered into a production agreement with the partner manufacturer to produce high-purity protein ingredients. Former customers of Merit Function Foods showed significant interest in Burcon's pea and canola proteins. Regarding the financial arrangements, the loan agreement accessed the second $5 million tranche of a $10 million loan from the largest shareholder with $1 million already drawn. Burcon showcased 95% hemp seed protein isolate at the Supply Side West trade show, receiving strong consumer interest. They have successfully set up commercial production capabilities using proprietary equipment. From a supply chain standpoint, they've integrated proprietary equipment at a contract manufacturer's facility and completed successful water test runs. Commercial production is expected to begin this quarter, with additional production planned for early 2024. Customer engagement strong. Former Merit customers, high interest in Burcon's pea and canola proteins, with many high potential buyers struggling to find replacements replacements with similar performance. Customer feedback: nearly 100% of contacted customers expressed interest in evaluating or even purchasing Burcon's proteins. Revenue goals: they aim to generate revenue from hemp protein sales and introduce more protein products. Burcon plans to disrupt the multi-billion-dollar plant protein market by offering new and superior protein ingredients. Future plans? Well, primary objectives for 2024 include hemp production and sales, launching additional proteins, and scaling commercial sales. Now, let's talk finances for a moment. Burcon reported a net loss of $2 million or 2 cents per share for the quarter, significantly lower than the $16.3 million or 15 cents per share loss in the same period last year. Reason? Well, decrease mainly due to the previous year's impairment losses related to Merit Functional Foods. Research and development expenses, $1 million down from the $1.2 million last year due to reduced intellectual property and stock-based compensation expenses. General and administrative expenses decreased by $65,000 due to cash conservation efforts, although professional fees increased due to consulting expenses for strategic planning. Cash balances, $675,000 as of December 31st, 2023, down from $1.5 million on March 31st, 2023. Loan draw, an additional $1 million drawn post quarter end. Future funding, current resources expected to fund operations until April 2024, potentially extended to January 2025 with full loan drawdown and other revenue sources. Bottom line, Burcon's NutraScience Corporation's fiscal 2024 third quarter results reflect robust execution and value creation, positioning the company for significant growth in the plant-based protein market. The company's capital-light business model and strategic financial management, they are key to meeting the rising demand for innovative protein ingredients. To learn more about Burcon NutraScience Corporation, visit their website at burcon.ca or on the OTC exchange under ticker symbol BRCNF, also on the Toronto exchange under ticker symbol BU.TO.